अरे ये आरज़ू है आज की इस जिंदगी की, अब इसे आवाज दो।
देखो वक्त है अब भी बिखरते इन सुरों को एक सुरीला साज दो।
बदलती है जमाने की तबीयत, देख लो इस आरज़ी के सामने। वो देखो वक्त रोता है, नहीं आया अभी तक कोई मुझको थामने। हमें मालूम है ये धुंध की परतों में लिपटा शहर हाँ खामोश है, मगर ये सोच मत लेना कि इसमें जी रही हर सांस भी बेहोश है। अरे इस सांस की गर्मी को थोड़ा हाथ से छू करके देखो तुम जरा।
तुम्हें एहसास होगा कि तुम्हारी धड़कनों में भी कहीं एक जोश है।
तुम्हारे पास हम आए हैं ऐसी ख्वाहिशें लेकर के, थोड़ा साथ दो। अरे ये आरज़ू है अब इसे आवाज दो, अब इसे आवाज दो।
Namaskar. This time we take a look at the issue of sexual harassment, particularly of working women. यौन संबंधित उत्पीड़न जिसका सामना कामकाजी औरत को खास करके करना पड़ता है. The issue is of concern worldwide and so also in our country, although it has not been discussed openly till lately. Consider the figures from this recent ILO study. 15 से 30% कामकाजी स्त्रियां यौन शोषण से पीड़ित पाई गईं. सर्वे में देखा गया कि इसी के कारण हर 12वीं स्त्री ने नौकरी छोड़ी या छोड़ने को मजबूर कर दी गई.
मम्मी अकेला रहती है, मम्मी मैं और भैया, तो मैं नहीं चाहती मम्मी काम करे. मम्मी हमको कमा कर खिलाते हैं, मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगता. मैं बोला मम्मी मैं कमा के उधर से भेजूँगा, आप काम मत कीजिए, मैं उधर से पैसा भेजूँगा. तो इधर मैं काम पे लगा, 1 हफ्ता भी नहीं हुआ. साहब जी जो मालिक मुझे लाया है कलकत्ता से, उसने मुझे बुला रही करके, तो मैं आवाज़ दे रही हूँ, फिर भी उसने जाके दरवाज़ा खोल दिया. उसको पता था चिटकेनी नहीं है, वो नहा रहे, आवाज़ दे रही हूँ फिर भी वो नहीं सुना, खोल दिया. फिर मैंने मना किया, देखिए साहब जी मैं नहा रही हूँ, फिर दोबारा खोल दिया. उसको पता है. उसको बेटी को बताया, वो गाली दे रहा है मुझको, बोल रही तुम गलत बोल रही हो. मैं बोले देखिए मैं झूठ किसी के बारे में आज तक नहीं बोला, और ऐसे बारे में कोई झूठ बोलता है.
The domestic worker is a migrant. She comes into the city. She has very little support system. With us, she has a support system of the office infrastructure. But there's no family. There's no backup of a male group for her whom she can recourse to or run to, or who's doing a follow-up on her. She's almost alone in a city and very vulnerable.
ऐसे मेरे पीछे पीछे साहब पड़े हुए, मतलब घूमते रहते थे. तो मैं एक दिन झाड़ू लगा रहे थे, तो मैं बाहर लगा रहे थे, तो बार बार बोलने लगे कि अंदर कमरे को साफ़ कर लो, साफ़ कर लो. फिर मैं बाद में कर देती हूँ, बाद में ऐसे बोलने लगे. मैं फिर भी करो करो बोले, तो मैं चले गए अंदर. फिर मैं जैसे जा रहे थे ऐसे मेरे पीछे पीछे, मतलब नहा के ही निकले थे. उस टाइम बनियान कोल पहन के रखे थे और तौलिया लपेट के रखे थे. फिर मेरे पीछे कपड़े छोड़ के आ गए. फिर मैं उसको बहुत ज़्यादा धक्का दिए और स्ट्रक उठा के मैं अभी मार दूँगे, सिर ही तोड़ के रखूँगे, अब समझते क्या हो, उसको बोलने लगे मैं. फिर उसके बाद में आप मतलब गांव से आए हुए हैं, इस ऐसे समझ के ऐसे मेरे पीछे पीछे पड़े रहते हूँ, आपको मैं भैया भैया कहती हूँ तो कोई बुराई कहती हूँ, ऐसे बोलने लग गए उसको. फिर उसके बाद में मैं रोने लग गए. फिर रो रहे थे. उस टाइम दरवाज़ा खोल के अपने काम पे जा रहे थे. उस टाइम बोलने लगे सॉरी, अब से ऐसे कभी नहीं होगा. सॉरी तो बार बार ही बोल देते हो बच्चों की तरह, फिर वही करते हो, मैं उसको बोलने लगे. फिर उसी दिन ही मैं काम छोड़ के आ गई यहाँ.
Actually, about a year ago, it's when it began to really, shall I say, unfold for us. When one woman demanded that her employers bring her to the office because she did not want to work with them. When they entered the office, the woman stood behind my chair and then said to them, now I will tell you why I don't want to work with you. And she then enlisted a number of incidents in which the man was harassing her at night. She was sleeping in the same bedroom with the children, and on pretext of coming and visiting the children, the man was also harassing her.
Well, you know that there was a time, even when I was a young student, I remember it was more or less expected that the female domestic help could be molested by the male folk of the family without inviting much adverse consequences. I am not talking about big cities where perhaps it was not easy, but in the rural areas, in small towns, it was going on merrily. But today, I am sure that that problem has diminished to a large extent. It is not as if the helpless maid servant is going to stand around for these things, not by and large.
After sensitizing the women on the issue, after helping them to understand their own body and making them understand what are the consequences of being vulnerable in a migrant society, I think women are much more freely talking about what's happening to them.
The nature of the offense is such that the woman is mostly bound not to reveal the problem.
उधर मेरा सामान भी पड़ा है, नहीं दिया, सिस्टर के पास छोड़ के मेरे बारे में उल्टा सीधा बोल के इधर छोड़ के गया है.
The woman knows what's going on. I think then situation would be under control.
Why is it that women employers don't believe that this can happen?
Part of it is a fact of denial. I think that my husband could ever do such a thing, or the male members of my family could do something like this with people who are in another class. Or the fact that surely I have much more than the domestic worker to offer my husband, and why would he want to look at her?
Whereas as far as the man is concerned,
it's only a passing thing for him. It's only an immediate satisfaction of what he wants in life. But I don't think he's thinking of any long-lasting relationship, or he's not even thinking of the consequences of this woman's life, of what happens to her.
ऐसे काम करते हैं, लेकिन ऐसे होना तो नहीं चाहिए.
Women themselves have to be more confident, more willing to come out, and the men have to be suitably educated, sensitized. These are the basic remedies.
The men, the employers need a few more challenges to what they're doing. When the challenges are not there, they know they can escape. But the man must also understand that there is a sense of dignity about the women that he cannot infringe upon. And the women within the family would have to bring that about.
Actually, we usually think that sexual harassment exists in small firms, in shops where sales girls are there, clerks, secretaries are there. If we really want to make a survey, I am sure we will come out with very shocking results, because we know that even in government departments, even in the public sector undertakings, in multinational corporations, the problem is very much there.
वो आपकी प्रमोशन, हाँ हाँ उसका तो हम देख ही रहे हैं, उसकी आप क्यों चिंता करती हैं? मगर उससे पहले थोड़ा शाम को मिल लेते हैं क्लब में. We'll have a swim in the pool.
आप काम ख़त्म करिए, शाम को मैं छोड़ दूंगा आपको, गाड़ी मेरे पास है ही, जल्दी क्या है?
The government system, you have a remedy in the form of a women's cell. The government of India has directed that every department and every government organization, even the public sector undertakings, must have a women's cell where the women employees can complain about any kind of such harassment.
अभद्र व्यवहार का ये मतलब है कि जैसे अंडर पोस्टिंग हम आके बैठे, एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में हमारी पोस्टिंग कर ली उसने लड़कियों की, लड़कियों को कोई काम नहीं दिया एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में, उनको टेलीफोन अटेंड करने के लिए अपने कमरे में बिठा लिया और सारा दिन हरास करता रहा, कभी कॉफ़ी पिला, कभी चाय पिला, उनसे भी डिमांड करता रहा. किसी लड़की को बोला मेरे पास गाड़ी है, तुम्हें मैं घर छोड़ दूंगा, मेरे साथ चलो. किसी से बोला तुम मुझसे दोस्ती कर लो, तुम मुझे खुश कर दो. अब जब लड़कियों ने मना किया तो उनको धमकी देने लगा, और धमकी देने के बाद लड़कियां परेशान हो गई और वो मेरे पास आ गई शिकायत के लिए. तो मैंने डिप्टी कमिश्नर से बात की.
बिकॉज हमारा सोशल स्ट्रक्चर ऐसा है कि चाहे छुरी खरबूजे पे गिरे, चाहे छुरा खरबूजे पे गिरे, नुकसान फीमेल्स का ही होना है. इसलिए कोई भी लड़की जिसकी जो अनमेरिड है या जो मैरिड भी है वो अपना नाम आगे नहीं देना चाहेगी। इसी पोजीशन को लेकर हमने कमिश्नर साहब से कहा। कमिश्नर साहब ने पूरे 200 आदमियों के ग्रुप के सामने प्रत्येक लड़की को बुला कर पूछा कि भाई आपके साथ क्या हुआ। 3 बार लड़कियों से रिटर्न कंप्लेंट ली गई। पहले उनसे ओरली पूछा गया, उसके बाद कमिश्नर ने कहा भाई इनसे रिटर्न में लिया जाए। उन्होंने रिटर्न में दिया सारी फीमेल्स ने, जबकि बड़ा मुश्किल रिटर्न में देना। लड़कियों की नौकरियाँ 2 साल की हैं, 2 साल कम है, रूल 5 लगा देते हैं, लोगों को टर्मिनेट कर देते हैं, और ये सारे जो चल रहा है सिस्टम वो चल रहा है यहाँ पर। उसके बावजूद भी लड़कियों ने हिम्मत करी और कंप्लेंट लिख के दी।
जो बोला यहाँ पे उसका ट्रांसफ़र कर दिया बाहर, कि जो यहाँ नहीं रहेगा और ना यहाँ कोई बोल पाएगा।
और पर इसके बीच भी इन लेडीज़ ने अपना कंप्लेंट लिख के राइटिंग में विजिलेंस ऑफिसर को दिया है, हैं जी? हाँ। और अभी भी कई औरतों ने राइटिंग में ये बात को दिया गया है कि सेक्सुअली हैरेसमेंट। हाँ जी,
कमीशन के अंदर हमने रिटर्न में कंप्लेंट भेजी है फीमेल स्टाफ की।
Now, as soon as we got the relevant information, I have written to the concerned Chief Secretary, and I expect that there would be positive action.
The officer was transferred, but allegedly in his own interest. Later, the department in question wrote to the National Commission on Women, asking it to take a fresh look at the matter. The agitation subsided. But in another cause célèbre that has rocked Delhi University for several years, the mere demotion of the person accused of heavy charges of sexual harassment did not appease the principal complainant and her co-campaigners. The allegations levied later reflected in the alleged evidence, and the principal charges were strong and uncompromising.
कितनी ही दर्जनों औरतों के साथ दुर्व्यवहार, यौनिक दुर्व्यवहार करता रहा, सेक्सुअल एक्सप्लॉयटेशन करता रहा, और यूनिवर्सिटी के कान पर जूं तक नहीं रेंगी। उस आदमी को बार बार प्रोटेक्शन मिली, पर एक महिला कम से कम जो वहाँ उस सारे दौरान में बनी रही, जिसने डट कर उस मर्द का मुकाबला किया, हर वक्त प्रोटेस्ट किया, यूनिवर्सिटी को बार बार कंप्लेंट की और हिम्मत नहीं हारी। उसमें बहुत बड़ा हाथ उसके पति का भी है कि उसका पूरा साथ था।
Would you tell me a little bit about this?
Well, we are talking about sexual harassment in an institution of higher learning, a university, a central university, and to be specific, Delhi University. And in that department, as you know, most of the working women will be professional women. Now, in that atmosphere of academic institution, if the head of the department is abusing and sexually harassing the colleagues, the women colleagues, then it becomes a very serious matter. Uses the official premises, the arrangement of his office in such a way that he gets exclusive space to, exploit women. This is what has happened in case of Delhi University Department of Adult Continuing Education. मेरे साथ all of a sudden, if I see him in a state where he is forcing me into a situation where I have to push him and get out of the office, that is sexual. और sexual मैं उसको भी कहूँगी कि स्टेनोटाइपिस्ट आपके पास काम के लिए जाती है, आप मीटिंग काम के लिए मीटिंग बुलाते हैं, एंड देन यू आर लुकिंग एट हर बॉडी, और अगर उसने पल्ला ढका हुआ है तो कहेंगे कि दिखाने की चीज़ जो है आप ढक के क्यों रखती हो। अगर वो खड़ी है ठीक से तो कहेंगे झुकने से आप शर्माती क्यों हैं, क्या आपके क्लीवेज दिख जाएंगे। आप औरत की अस्मिता को, उसकी इज्जत नहीं करते हैं ऐसी जगह पर कि जहां आप एकेडमिक इंस्टीट्यूशन में, एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशन में, जहां आपको फ्यूचर का विजन तैयार करना है समाज के लिए, वहां औरत को इतना आप जलील करते हो। आई फेल्ट दैट इट वाज माय ड्यूटी also that these matters should be brought to the notice of the higher authorities of the university. So I was going to the university and telling them in writing about these matters, and as the person who was harassing, the head of the department, he came to know that we were getting together, we were talking about things, he started harassing in other manners also. मैंने दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी ज्वाइन की तब मैं 47 की थी, तो मैं ये सोच रही थी कि अब मेरे पास 10-15 साल ऐसे हैं कि मैं अपना बेस्ट जीवन का एकेडमिक फील्ड में दे सकती हूँ। उसमें मेरे साथ ये किया। it was a sort of quasi-judicial inquiry, almost like a courtroom, and it was done with absolute legal procedure. First, statements were asked from us, and statements were asked with all the necessary supporting documents. I submitted my statements with 155 documents supporting. Every statement I made had a supporting document, because whatever was in writing was in my file. The only plus point of my science background was that I was very organized in keeping my papers and filing and things like that, and that was regularly done year wise.
अब कोई मर्द जब किसी औरत के कपड़े उतारने की कोशिश करता है तो वो वीडियो कैमरा थोड़ी ला सकती है, या 10 लोगों को वहाँ अपने विटनेस थोड़े खड़े कर सकती है कि उसने मेरा ब्लाउज फाड़ना चाहा या उसने मेरे को ज़बरदस्ती दबोचा। तो कैसे वो उस वक़्त कैसे वो प्रूफ लाएगी? और इस किस्म के जब आप प्रूफ किसी औरत से मांगेंगे तो उसको जलील करने वाली बात है।
मैंने जो सहन किया उससे मेरी घर की, मैं बाहर से लड़ती रही सबके लिए भी मेरे लिए भी, अंदर से मैं कितनी टूटी हूँ कि मेरी पूरी हेल्थ ख़त्म हो गई। मुझे हार्ट का प्रॉब्लम हो गया, एंजाइना हो गया, चेस्ट पेन्स मुझको रहते हैं। मेरे घर के लोगों ने कितना सहन किया है कि ये पूरी कमेटी और इतने सालों में जो कुछ भी हुआ है, तो सुबह 7 बजे से रात के 7 बजे तक मैं आती थी। उसके बाद हम लोग शांति से कभी बैठ के 2 टाइम का खाना नहीं खा पाए।
यूनिवर्सिटी स्टैट्यूट्स में ऐसे काम के लिए डिसमिसल के अलावा कोई और प्रोविज़न नहीं है, पर उन्होंने केवल उसको डिमोशन दी है, जो मैं सोचती हूँ पर्याप्त नहीं है।
द कर्मचारीज, द स्टूडेंट्स, द टीचर्स, the women, they all got together and there was a bandh of the university. Now this has never happened that all the sections are together. They were all unified on this issue that he should be dismissed. That was a very big public opinion, a very strong public opinion. But the university has had, the executive council had taken that decision of demotion. They did not budge.
For the campaigners, the decision to demote was clearly legally wrong and morally inadequate. 2 women's organizations have moved the courts in the public interest, challenging what they consider to be unwarranted leniency. The court's verdict is awaited. पर कोर्ट में लड़ाई करना आसान नहीं होता। मिले एक ऐसे महिला से अब, जिन्होंने 14 साल तक अपनी लड़ाई जारी रखी, अपने guts, courage और perseverance से। She took the battle all the way to the Supreme Court, having failed to get justice from the lower courts and the institutions below.
It was not my intention to get involved in any confrontation or in controversy at all, but it so happened that I had to be in it, and I had to go through a hell of ordeals for the past 18 years. But anyway, since I had put my foot forward, I didn't want to retreat as a defeated soldier. So I was bent upon seeing something or other should come out. Either I totally perish or I win the cause.
She was a brilliant official. That was why she was picked up for being given special training in the United States.
I had all talents, efficiency, sincerity, integrity, everything, and I had very good confidential service records. In spite of that, just because I came forward and exposed all the illegalities and irregularities that were happening.
Molestation, that was the word mentioned in her representation. And it was in relation to the allegations of molestation that the Lieutenant Governor felt that an inquiry was necessary. There is a detailed background, according to her, for the reason why she had been so harassed.
In the discharge of my duties, I came to find out that certain things were happening amiss in the rescue and shelter home run by the directorate. And my higher authorities also, they also had reports about that, that the inmates of the rescue and shelter home were being misused by the minister and some of his associates and all that, and the secretary of the department wanted a report from me. In meanwhile, actually the Minister for Social Welfare, he was trying to get me roped into some kind of racket or other. I don't know what it is actually, but he was sending messengers one after another to me, asking me to go and meet him in his house, in the residence, and when I was politely refusing, he was sending gifts to my residence, some pornographic books, etc., etc., which all I refused. And
she stood in the way of the bureaucrat and the politician, taking any liberty with the girls who had been housed in the rescue home. This, according to her, infuriated the persons in office and power.
I submitted this report, as a consequence of which I was asked to issue a confidential warning memo to the superintendent of the shelter home. And she took it to the minister, and then he was all the more against me and saw to it that I did not remain in the department.
According to her, there were attempts at pressurizing her to deviate from the path of rectitude.
Actually, he rang the doorbell at about 10 o'clock in the night. Then my maid servant went and peeped through the window. Night times, I never opened the door for anyone because I am living alone with my maid servant. This man entered into our house through that scavenger's door. And when we were talking, my maid servant and myself, we were discussing, this man entered, he was standing there. Then my maid servant immediately caught hold of his neck and pushed him out of the house. Then he went out. Then next day when I went to the office, taking advantage of my exterior calmness, immediately he walked into my room and said, see, this is a file I brought yesterday. Your upcountry servant woman, she chased me away. And all this, I have recommended your promotion, your regularization, this thing, that thing and all that. You please kindly go through that. Within 5 minutes I returned and said, thank you, sir. Immediately he caught hold of my hand. At least today you allow your servant to admit me in. I want to come to your house. Then I lost my control and temper, and the coffee cup was before me. I took that coffee cup and threw it on his face and said, you get out of my room. Then immediately the first place he rushed to was to D. Ramchandran's room in the assembly. He went to the chief secretary that I was standing nude in the office with a knife in the hand ready to stab anyone. I am mentally deranged. Immediately the home minister rang up the IGP and said, you get her arrested immediately. Then the police people came and told me, don't sit in the office any longer because they are going to arrest you. So immediately I gave a petition to the chief minister requesting for a judicial inquiry and pointing out certain demands of mine and all that. And I announced also that I will enter on a fast from Gandhi Jayanti day.
It was on the basis of a prima facie satisfaction that Prabhudas Patwari, a Gandhian, passed an order in 1978 directing what is an extraordinary step, namely an inquiry against a minister serving under him.
78 I got the judicial inquiry order. Then from that, from 78 to 78 December, 6 months I was expecting the government of Pondicherry to come forward to implement the order of the lieutenant. When they were not doing that, then I thought it better that I go to the High Court and get it done. Unfortunately, from 79 to 85, nearly 6 years Madras High Court took to give their judgment, and it was, they dismissed it on a ground that there was a lacuna in the judicial inquiry order.
There were two reasons given by the Madras High Court for denying her the relief. The absence of a specific reference to a legal provision in the order of the Lieutenant Governor, and the omission to specify the district judge to conduct the inquiry.
But actually, as far as Pondicherry is concerned, there is only one district judge.
She moved the Supreme Court.
My SLP was admitted in the Supreme Court in 1986.
That was the first stage of the vindication of her right.
Here again till 94, it was not finding the light of the day.
Their lordships held that the reasons given by the Madras High Court were faulty, were patently faulty. They upheld the conduct and character of the appellant Radhabai. Supreme Court said that he committed a grave error in discarding or overlooking those legal principles which had been laid down from very early times, namely that you need not expect or insist upon very clinching corroborative materials in a situation of that nature. These legal principles had been omitted to be borne in mind by the Inquiry Commissioner.
There cannot be a stronger or a greater witness than the one who is injured. The injured person itself, himself or herself, is a testimony. And especially in a case of this kind, so normally no woman would it is not a matter for pride for a woman to come forward and say this man winked at me or this man did this thing to me, this man made advance. Surely it is not a matter for pride.
Their lordships could reach the conclusion that her grievances were justified and established, though not in relation to all minor details. Consequently, an award of compensation was ordered by the Supreme Court. A sum of rupees 3 lakhs has been given.
Compensation is very meager, but it is not the compensation point of that. See, the court has accepted my cause and they have recognized the ordeals I have gone through, harassment I have gone through. So even if it is 3 lakhs or 3,000, I consider the same only, or even if it is 30 lakhs. Even 1 pi I got as a compensation is saving my honor.
Essentially, her character, her content had been vindicated. The minister has been found to be liable legally. That is why their lordships have made him jointly liable for the compensation which has been awarded.
But I think more severe deterrent action like even prosecution. But some action should have been taken so that they will not repeat such people in power will not repeat such mistakes, misusing or abusing their powers.
This judgment, I am sure, will certainly be a lesson for those who try to take liberties with a woman official or a woman.
No, women must come forward very boldly, and whatever has happened they must expose. Then if a few women come forward and do like this, I think the atmosphere will definitely change. Otherwise, such men will take advantage of the timidity of the woman, and this process will continue forever.
Today, Radhabai is working in Kerala in the People's Council for Social Justice, a legal aid and public interest NGO. Her trauma has not been in vain. Her example serves as a profile of courage, and her experience will help others. This program salutes these women who have spoken out, undeterred, in the hope that in the future, women will not be silenced and will not be ashamed to speak the truth. As another film asked in another context,
these women have spoken. Will you?
इन महिलाओं ने तो बोल दिया है, और अब आप?
और अब 7वें एपिसोड के सवाल का जवाब। बलात्कार के विषय में पत्र की संख्या एड्स के बराबर नहीं थी और कानून की ठीक जानकारी तो गिनती के पत्रों में ही पाई। पर देश के कोने कोने से व्यक्ति और संस्थाएं लिख रहे हैं कि वे समाज में काम के लिए उत्सुक हैं। While the number of letters and the level of legal knowledge was poorer for the rape episode than for the AIDS programs, it is heartening to have so many individuals and organizations writing in from different parts of the country about wanting to network. More about this at the end of the series. 7th एपिसोड का सवाल था, बलात्कार करने वाले को कानून में कम से कम क्या सजा मिल सकती है और क्या बलात्कार की कोशिश भी दंडनीय अपराध है? जवाब है, सजा है कम से कम 7 साल की कठिन या साधारण कारावास जो 10 साल तक या आजीवन हो सकती है और जुर्माना भी। और हाँ, बलात्कार की कोशिश भी दंडनीय अपराध है जिसकी सजा बलात्कार की सजा से आधी है। द क्वेश्चन फॉर दिस प्रोग्राम यानी हमारा सवाल है, भारतीय दंड संहिता की धारा 509 के अंतर्गत स्त्री की लज्जा को भंग करने तथा उसका प्रयास करने वालों को सजा हो सकती है। इसके अंतर्गत क्या दंड दिया जा सकता है और किस तरह के अपराध शामिल हैं? Section 509 of the Indian Penal Code provides for action against sexual harassment. What punishment does it provide and what offences does it cover?
हमें मालूम है ये धुंध की परतों में लिपटा शहर हाँ खामोश है, मगर ये सोच मत लेना कि इसमें जी रही हर सांस भी बेहोश है। अरे इस सांस की गर्मी को थोड़ा हाथ से छू करके देखो तुम जरा,
तुम्हें एहसास होगा